James with Creative Audio. Today we're going to be doing a product overview on the new Kicker Warhorse series of competition amplifiers. What we've got laid out in front of us today is the two new amplifiers from Kicker for their Warhorse series of competition amps. So first thing we're going to notice is both of these are going to be aesthetically the same as far as overall footprint, but two big differences. This one is going to be the monoblock high power subwoofer amplifier. So this is going to give you up to 3,600 watts at 1 ohm to power whatever sub pairing you're going to have. And then this is going to be 1,000.4. So this is going to be a high power 4-channel amplifier. So if you've got a competition setup and you need high power for all your mids and highs, or if you've got your subs that you need a ton of power for, that's going to be where the Warhorse comes into play. So two things you'll notice whenever we have these set out here is that these both have this new diagnostic tool. So this is going to have a magnet on the top of it. It's going to tell you whether the amp is in thermal protection, your voltage, and that's going to give you a lot of good information. You'll notice that whenever we go to the sub amp, this is going to come with an actual bass knob too. So you can control that subwoofer volume separate from your radio or, at your fingertip right at the dash. When we talk about these being competition amplifiers, there's set features that Kicker has built into these Warhorse series. They've got the competition mode. So you're actually gonna turn that on. And what that's gonna do is that's gonna set that input sensitivity to 4 volts. What that's gonna allow you to do is strap multiple amplifiers together and then adjust your gain from one amplifier. So that makes gain matching so much easier. And on those larger, more elaborate systems, that's really gonna save time and also make sure that everything performs exactly as you intend. Fail-safe integration tech, or FIT for short, is actually built into all the Warhorse amplifiers. So when you think about an amplifier that is brutal power like this from Kicker, you may not necessarily think of the word FIT, but that's actually tech that's built into these amplifiers across the entire Kicker line. What FIT is going to do for you is going to be on the OEM integration. If you've got a factory stereo system that you're going to be retaining the factory radio and adding one of these high power amplifiers, it'll take input from 125 millivolt up to 40 volts. That's a ton of room there. So it doesn't matter if you have a new Bose system, if you have a Mark Levinson system, this is going to integrate into that and allow you to take that input. One of the big things on the integration on this amplifier is going to be the start and stop technology. You'll notice that a lot of vehicles will turn off the ignition or turn off the charging system whenever you're at an intersection or sitting or idling to cut down on emissions. That is going to be hard on amplifiers. It's going to be hard on charging systems. That's actually built into the FIT tech for these amplifiers. That's going to allow the amplifier to perform exactly as intended without causing additional strain or draw on either the amplifier itself or your vehicle's charging system. When we talk about an amplifier that's either going to be producing 1,000 watts or 3,600 watts, you're going to want to make sure your charging system is adequate to get the raw power that you're wanting out of these. First thing that Kicker suggests is a 180 amp alternator and possibly a secondary battery depending on where it's going to be mounted inside the vehicle. What you're going to find on Kicker's website or in the link below is you're going to find the information from Kicker and their suggestion on how to use the amplifier and make sure your charging system is properly upgraded with the big three, upgrading your alternator wiring, battery, and so on. So the big thing is make sure that you've spent the money on the amplifier, you've got the grade A Kicker products, you just want to make sure that the car is ready for it, and also you're going to get the full power out of your amplifier. Both amplifiers in this series are going to share the same rugged overall design and aesthetic of the Warhorse series. So looking at the amplifier, you can tell that it means business. Big power, decent sized footprint, but this thing weighs roughly 20 pounds. So I mean, it's packed with technology. But on the other side, you're also going to notice that this is going to be the overall heat sink here. So these amps can actually be stacked depending on how you're going to be doing your installation, or if you're going to do that strapping that we mentioned earlier to link multiple amplifiers together. It's going to have built-in cooling fans on the end, and then this is going to be actually part of the cooling system of the amplifier itself here. So these are designed to dissipate heat, perform in a trunk, in a custom installation, or in some of the SPL vehicles where guys are going to be using these for competition. When you think about an amplifier that needs to be fused at roughly 400 amp, you start to think about the fuse holder. Well, Kicker's gone a step further and actually built Warhorse branded and designed fuse holders and distribution blocks. So whenever you go to do your install and you've got your big three done, you've got your big alternator, you got your big battery, but you want to proudly show that you've got the Warhorse setup, that's going to be where the new accessories are coming into play. We've got those in the link below as well. While each amplifier model number denotes how much power the amp is going to put out and how many channels, be it the 3600.1 or the 1000.4, Kicker does include inside every box a birth certificate. And what that's going to do is that's going to tell you, A, that the amp was tested, its true power, and then also make sure that you get your full 2-year warranty whenever you purchase through an authorized dealer. So this example that we have here is the 3600, but the birth certificate inside came back at 4700 watts. So this is going to be a ton of power that Kicker is going to guarantee that each amplifier produces before it leaves their warehouse. So we've talked about the 3600.1, the sub amplifier. Let's go a little bit more in depth on the 1000.4. So what this is going to be, despite having the same exact size footprint, this is going to be a 1000.4, which is going to give us 450 watts by 4 at 2 ohm or 250 watts by 4 at 4 ohm. So if you're running horn-loaded compression drivers, tower speakers, if you've got a tailgate set up, if you've got a competition vehicle and you need to get the vocals up to match your high output of your subs, that's gonna be where something like this is gonna come into play. So both amplifiers are gonna have the same footprint, so for custom installation, but they're gonna both be versatile. So if you need a ton of power for your highs or a ton of power for your woofer, that's gonna be where the Warhorse series of amplifiers come into play. So that's been the overview on the new Warhorse series of competition amplifiers from Kicker. As always, stay tuned as we bring you more in-depth videos pairing these with the Solo X and other innovative products to fit your lifestyle.